everybody, get in here. Followers, viewers, chatters, Twitchers, YouTubers, subscribers, sharers. We want it all. We need it all. We need it now. Gonna give it into the solid minute mark to dive in. As I've said, thank you for all that support this show, whether it be through donations or just simply watching. It's an uphill climb for sure on Twitch. Trying to rise through the ranks. And yeah, the show is successful because of viewers like you, so thank you. Alright, today we are going to continue in Phoenix Wright. I should have some Fallout 76 gameplay following this, and then after that we'll have our exercise show for today. I might be considering playing another game. Season of Mastery, of course, is an option. If that is something you'd like to see, please do let me know. Because I would need to resub to World of Warcraft for that to be the case. But I do have other games in my library, so there are multiple possibilities. Speaking of which, there are 3 games total in the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy, hence the word trilogy. And the other games in the series are also an option. We're in episode 5 now, Ace Attorney, Day 2's investigation, so we are getting close to the end now, I think, of Ace Attorney. Thank you for all followers of not just this show, but series as well. I hope you've been enjoying. Alright, here we go. February 23rd, 2:15 p.m. Wright and Company Law Offices. Mr. Wright, so what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused. Huh? Well, let's see. What is going on? The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. As we might recall from the last episode, we learned that the police department also did an investigation into Bruce Goodman's death, and after a little bit of monkey business from Gaunt, we were able to discover that another possibility is that Bruce Goodman might have died in the evidence room. It took us like an hour to figure that out because of all the horseplay of Gaunt, but we did figure it out. So I'm assuming that in this episode we're going to be trying to piece together more information, more specifics surrounding the death of Detective Goodman, particularly where he died, and perhaps who killed him, because we also have 2 different murder weapons, strangely. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room, which, as I alluded to in the previous episode, is frankly not possible, because barring like cloning or time travel, like there is only one Bruce Goodman. And in turn, there's only one place that he could have died. So the police department and the prosecutor's office are getting their streams crossed, so to speak. They're getting their stuff mixed up. What's this and the evidence room part? Emma, hello. You were here in the last episode. Like, you were in the courtroom, like, you heard it all. The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car. Oh, pretty significant, actually. Well, That's what we're going to find out, or try to at least. I was under the assumption that they were close together, so that raises even more questions, like, how is it possible that there is such a big discrepancy in information between the information that we got from Angel Star and the information that we got from Damon Gant? Like, why is there such a big divide? As you might recall, Lana's also already confessed to the murder. But her sister Emma has reason to believe that she didn't actually do it. And yet again, I'm still wondering why the defendant isn't giving us more testimony to work with. Why she isn't really offering any explanation whatsoever. Much like Edgeworth, our defense of Edgeworth in the last episode, she's not really helping us out. So it's like, we're trying to figure it all out on our own. Okay. Alright, let's do it. Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's going to be much help with this. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Huh? Is she able to read my mind? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go. Science awaits us. Alright, Vamonos. February 23rd, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lots. You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares? So, are you suggesting that the police department's information is completely made up? Fabricated? It's possible. I mean, we were casting doubt in the last episode on the quality of the detective work of the officer assigned. So from what I understand, the body of Detective Goodman was found in the trunk of Edgeworth's car in the prosecutor's parking lot. So that would seem to directly contradict what we learned from Gant in the previous episode. So the important question arises, so why is there a difference? What's the reason for the discrepancy? Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room, no biggie. Again, Phoenix, we don't know for sure. And we have two completely different versions of events that we're trying to sort through in this episode. Besides, my sister would never do such a thing, I know it. Emma's pretty much been maintaining that through this entire episode. She's been very consistent on that. That oil drum, was it empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. That was the explanation that Angel gave as to why there weren't any bloody prints in the parking lot. There's just still a lot of vagueness and ambiguity surrounding what actually occurred in that parking lot. Because Angel's saying that it took her 5 minutes to reach the parking lot and make the arrest of Lana. Angel's the lunch lady, so I'm still not entirely sure why she performed a citizen's arrest, but apparently she did. My sister, erasing evidence at the crime scene? Never. Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister. That's not it at all. It's just, we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her. Big words for a high school student. But whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away. Is she gonna use her science to help us out here? Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright. Huh? What's that grin for? The situation calls for one thing, and that is Luminol Testing fluid. Is pull out a DNA testing kit to see if there's any like trace amounts of blood on the floor. Actually, there should be like traces of blood in the car too, or perhaps some scant evidence, like maybe leftover skin or hair-based DNA, perhaps. Like they've been able to track people's murders by like picking up like clothing fibers in cars, so there might be one or more pieces of evidence that Goodman left behind if his dead body was stuffed in the trunk. Luminol? Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there. But wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try. Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet. And that prevents you from testing why and how. We're testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it. Here, look, I'll lend you these glasses. Huh? You an extra pair of those things? Okay. To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Press enter to spray it on. Okay, let's find us some bloodstains. Alright, let's do it. Okay, it looks like it doesn't light up, actually. My lips, yo, are so stinking dry, like, I have to keep putting Carmex on. I think it has to do with the changing of the seasons. Like, we're getting closer to wintertime, and because of that, like, my lips are so dry. Plus I'm in Phoenix, so it's drier here, I think, than other places. Starry-eyed. Yo, 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 thank you for watching the show. Thank you for chatting. Don't forget to follow. Let's see, how am I liking Ace Attorney so far? Good question. I would say that overall I'm liking this game a lot. I do like the detective work aspect. Trying to figure out what really happened. I've always liked the characters of Phoenix Wright. They're just very colorful. I like the courtroom antics. Objection! I would say probably the only thing that I dislike about this game is how linear the narrative is sometimes. Like I've said it before in some of the previous episodes of this series, that they don't really let you color outside the lines a whole bunch. Like, if you object with any piece of evidence that is not the exact piece of evidence that's in the game files to progress the story forward, you're going to hit a dead end. If you press them on what they're saying and you don't press them in like the correct order sometimes, that can also prevent you from progressing in the story. And I think that's probably the most frustrating thing, is that I can't be as open-ended with my problem solving. Like I have to be like pretty exact. Looks like there's some blood over here. Blood sample anyway. Although blood has been washed away. Okay, it keeps blinking. What does that mean? Oh, okay. Just hit the button again. I can see her eyes are shining behind those glasses. So, is this a blood stain? It's so... Ugh. Emma, you're shaking. It's just, this is my first time seeing real blood. Technically, it's just like blood it's like leftover blood DNA. Like, it's not actual blood. All the actual blood's already been washed away. Scientific investigation in action. Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a blood stain. But doesn't something strike you as odd? Scientifically speaking, of course. What's odd about this scientifically? The bloodstain's location or the amount of blood. I don't think there's anything fishy about the location because it's directly behind the car that his body was found in. So why wouldn't there be blood there? I think it's more so the amount of blood, because it doesn't really seem like there's all that much. So let me see what it says when I try to enter amount of blood, because I think it's the amount. The perpetrator and Detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little bit more blood? And there should be 2 different sets of blood too, because I think Lana's blood was spread here too. I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of this victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they fought here, there'd have to have been more blood than this. And perhaps even some leftover footprints. Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find a bloodstain, okay? Alright, thank you very much. See, I'm pretty handy to have around, right? Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, and this stuff's pretty handy too. I saved up my allowance to buy that. Oh, well, thank you very much. Luminol Testing fluid received from one very proud-looking Emma Sky. It definitely doesn't make progress on this case. I'm just wondering why she's just telling us about this now. Like, this is our second day of investigation, so she could have also told us about this on the previous day of investigation, and that might have helped us perform better during the previous day's trials, but okay. Solution used for scientific investigation. Finds blood traces. Spray to use. We can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Yeah, for some reason the police have been not very helpful in this case for some reason. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. But let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day. Yeah. Feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it? We have been, Emma. Guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious. Ha. It's you again. I wonder how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Miss Starr. You only trust your own eyes. Not bad, you two. There she goes again. Giving us some snacks. This day old deli box is on the house. Sorry, it's just that kind of lead to lead in doesn't really get my mouth watering. Okay, let's examine. This is where the cars leave the lot. The arrow on the ground makes it look more like an entrance. What are you talking about? It's plainly an exit. Well, maybe it's both. Kind of a dual purpose. Aha! The theory of relativity. What? I've got to write this down. Hey, Mr. Wright. Maybe, you know, was Mr. Relativity German, or was he British? Mr. Relativity? Are you sure that was his name? I'm not sure what she's talking about. So that's where Miss Starr saw the incident from. You can probably see quite a lot from up there. That probably means she wasn't lying when she said she saw Miss Sky stab him. Where's the security guard anyway? Well, this is just something I heard, but apparently he went out to buy coffee for Miss Starr. That woman is a force to be reckoned with. Why? That was like the worst possible time for him to buy coffee. Look at door, this must mean something. It might even be connected for that matter. I'm not sure that doors mean anything. No, it won't open. A mysterious lock. I fail to see what's mysterious about it. Mr. Wright, you need to learn to enjoy life more. I'm a-trying. I'm a-trying. Let's finish our investigation first, shall we? Aha, ladder. That's a step ladder. What's the difference? In scientific terms, please. Scientific, huh? Look at the basic nature of the thing, Mr. Wright. This all seems so horribly familiar somehow. I'm pretty sure that's because she said it last time too, Phoenix. So this is the famous divider. It sure helped us knock a hole in that testimony today. Come to think of it, this divider helped our case more than the actual witness. The Great Divider, chip off the old parking block. It's just a wall, scientifically speaking. We were able to deduce that she was in the security booth when she saw Lana calling for help on this emergency phone. Because if she were on this other side, then she wouldn't have been able to see that. Here, a phone. Let's see if it works. Hey, don't touch stuff we don't need to be touching. I can't hear anything. My ears. No, my ears. Maybe it's due to the barometric pressure. What is she babbling about? Hey, what did you just say? See, you can hear just fine. The phone's broken. I think she can hear my asides. Like when I'm thinking, I think she can hear. So this is the famous oil drum. Well, no time like the present. I'll try to kick it over myself. Hee-yah! That's okay, don't cry. That Lana Skye must be one strong woman. So apparently she kicked it over to hide the evidence, I guess. A block. This area is reserved for prosecutors. Defense attorneys are relegated to B block. I dream of the day when I'll be able to park my car here. I'll go over to B block to buy my hamburgers from you, Mr. Wright. I'm not planning on giving up my job that soon. This rope. Is it... Yep. They laid it in the outline of the victim's body. So wait. The victim must have died when the killer closed the trunk on it. I think he was dead before that. You've got to be the only person I know that would come to that conclusion. That's where we found that note. 221 Sl9, the Sl9 Incident. A case that was due for transferal the day of the murder. And the detective in charge of the case was the victim. I wonder what kind of case this Sl9 Incident thing was. We still don't know. It's kind of hard to guess just knowing the case number. That's about as red as a sports car can get. Yep, it's pretty red alright. The body was found in Edgeworth's car trunk. And the lock on the trunk was broken too. So the question is, why did Miss Skye choose this color? And it looks like they spelled choose wrong. Why did Miss Skye chose his car? I think you mean choose his car. And yeah, I make mistakes reading all the time. I think the main reason is because I go too fast. Like I'm like, and I like substitute words and paraphrase based on the meaning that I infer from the sentence. But yeah, I think that's just something I could work on, just slowing down. But yeah, they spelled choose wrong. So what model car is it? I think it was called a sedan or a coupe, something like that. Those are car types, Mr. Wright, not models. You're a guy, aren't you, Mr. Wright? You're supposed to know these things. Maybe it is about time I got my driver's license. I got mine right around my 18th birthday. E-block is through there. That's where visitors park. So Mr. climbed over this fence. Seems so, yeah. That fence is 9 feet high at least. No time like the present. I think I'll give it a little try. Eek. It's okay, don't cry. Maybe there's a Lunchland Olympics team. Yeah, I don't know how she did all that. Let's see, can I keep using this spray? Let's see, I can check it. On the sky. Someone used a marker to write their name on this. I think I know who, too. Emma Skye. Don't tell me you bring this with you everywhere you go. Well, you never know where something might go down. Just what kind of world do you think we live in? Okay. Is there anything else on this water bottle for us to check out? I don't think so. We might be able to spray it around over here. Let's see, we already got that. Is there any blood on or around the car? Other than behind. Well, looks like they didn't get anywhere around here, so they must have done a great job cleaning up. Aha, there's some by this phone. This blood must be from when Lana... No, my sister isn't the murderer. She's the only suspect we have, Emma. But she did call you, didn't she? At the time of the crime? And her right hand is bandaged. Hey, just whose side are you on? Emma, I'm on the side of truth and justice. If my defendant did it, then it's my obligation as the attorney to ensure that justice is served. Not to get her off scot-free. Not to help her assume zero responsibility or accountability for her actions. That's not what a responsible lawyer would do. This has nothing to do with taking sides. So this means that Lana's hand had blood on it. Yeah, she was involved in the murder in some way. It doesn't seem like it was an accident at all, and Lana is not saying that it was. So that is significant. This just keeps getting worse. Is there blood anywhere else in here? Don't think so. What's amazing is that she only got blood in those two places. Like behind the car and on this phone. Like if she were covered in blood after just stabbing someone, there should be a trail of blood, right? You would think. Okay, today's trial. You certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Miss Starr, but... No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that, I'm sorry. Why would she think that? You're still in the same area where the murder supposedly occurred, assuming that it didn't occur in the evidence room. Sorry, you lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Sky stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. Hopefully she's not lying about that too, because there isn't any photographic proof of what she's saying. There's really just her testimony. But if what she's saying is true, then that means that Gant's information is inaccurate. That he wasn't actually murdered in the evidence room. I actually don't know where they got that, if she's correct. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman. Angel, you're no longer a detective. I relieved you of duty, by the way. But there would be great if she had other evidence supporting her claim. That would be great. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? Can I look at it? Yeah, I can. Maybe I need to present it to her. Yeah, I have this crime photo that was taken by Angel Starr after the crime was committed. And it shows Lana Skye wearing a blood-spattered coat, closing the trunk lid. Pretty bad. Shoe which contains traces of blood from Goodman and Lana. Like, it's not looking good for her, I'll say. This is a little bit mysterious. The switchblade knife found at the crime scene wrapped in the defendant's muffler. Small tag attached. I still don't know why there are two different murder weapons. Like, I haven't been able to figure that out yet. Okay, let's see. Let me try to present the evidence to her first, and then move on. Could you take a look at this? You. Yes? You said you wanted some hot tea, right? No, but thanks. She didn't even look at it. You must have to brew the leaves a long time to get a rich flavor like this. We pre-infuse the leaves with steam before brewing. I knew it, so that's the secret to their aroma. Exquisite. The only thing I'm smelling here is wasted time. Is there anything else that she would know about? If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes. So you went straight to the scene of the crime. I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were. 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Starr. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl. I've had my testimony disregarded before. And I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time. That time? I mean, 5 minutes... It's kind of a long time, but it's not really a long time. Apparently it wasn't enough time for Lon to get away. It was just enough time for her to be caught. So, yeah, I don't really know what revelations, if any, we're going to be able to come to today. So you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day I dragged the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. And you were let go? Fired? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case, the Sl9 incident. Sl9? Wait, she doesn't mean... Let me see if I can present that knife to her then. What do you think about this? The Sl9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note, Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know. Really? That knife was evidence from that case. The murder weapon. It was due for transfer the very day that Goodman was killed. Oh, okay, so... This isn't actually the murder weapon in this case. This was the murder weapon in the Sl9 case incident. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. So it's possible that whoever was connected to that case tried hiding this weapon as part of a cover-up. As I suspected. Sl9 isn't over. Not yet. Do you think you could tell us more about the Sl9 incident? you'll be able to. That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable to who? 2 years ago, it was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was they never did find decisive evidence, not a shred. So how are they able to put him to death without decisive evidence? I don't get that at all. What? But the criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence, of a sort. Made up evidence. So again, how was he executed with phony evidence? What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those? Myself, and one other person you know well. Wait, could it be? Goodman? No, but Goodman was still a detective. Oh, okay. Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Up, down, left, right, and center. Jake was particularly determined, and then it was over, and he was demoted. Why did he do such horrible detective work? What more, they also assigned him to this case, so I'm not sure. Are they betting on history not repeating itself, or is there a reason they did that? I don't know. He hasn't forgotten, neither have I. You haven't forgotten Sl9? There's another side of that case, a hidden side. That's what we're here after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait. Those lunches you sell. There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this cursed office. I come here to meet old friends. Boyfriends that can help me investigate. Miss Star's old boyfriends. How many does she have anyway? At least one for every day of the week, Phoenix. Just when all the detectives on Sl9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, Ricky. What? And can you please stop calling me that? It seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Phoenix hasn't lost a case yet, by the way. He might be a rookie, but he's pretty darn good. Yes. Then you should take this. Salisbury steak lunch. I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Okay. Steak lunch received from Miss Star. Excellent for putting Officer Marshall in a good mood. Miss Star? Officer Marshall, is he your, are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago, when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me too back then. This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall. So it looks like we're gonna have to talk to him next. I think that's about all. I could try presenting her this lunch. You give that to Jake like I asked, won't you? You and Officer Marshall, you, oh. Okay. Yeah, they already said that. Wow, my mouth is watering. I can almost hear the sound of steak frying on the grill. No doubt it's all cold and tough by now. No, I'm sure it's delicious. Miss Starr poured her heart into making this. So long as she didn't put any other organs in there. Okay, and the... what is that called? The... ingredients. Table of contents, right? Let's see. Ingredients meat. She must mean beef. She probably got... she probably just wrote it generically. Yeah. Let's hope so. Of course, as a scientist, I have to check out what additives she used. Go to town. Huh? It says here, hours of sweat and labor. So that's why the sauce is so salty. Okay, let's keep searching. I think that's all we can do on this. Okay, High Prosecutor's Office, February 23rd, room 1202. Well, this place is as classy today as it was yesterday. And I'm sure it'll still be just as classy tomorrow, Emma. Incidentally, Edgeworth's not here. I'm sure he's off doing important investigations. I hope that's what he's doing. Guess we'll have to come back. I wonder if there's anything here. A work desk, it's quite tidy as one might expect. What a nice desk, easy to use and easy on the eyes. It's polished so high I can see my own reflection. Strange, why did I just picture Detective Yamshu? Maybe I'll take that plaque as a souvenir. Don't, I'll sue you. Take all your money. He'll sue you if you're even looking funny. Hey, chessboard. Blue's in a tight spot. The red knights have surrounded the blue pawn. Huh? Those horses are mounted knights. Their swords have really sharp edges. Check out that poor pawn. His head's kind of spiky. Kind of reminds me of you. Mr. Edgeworth must be an avid chess player. What's wrong, Mr. Wright? Edges. Surrounding a pawn with spiky hair? Nah, it's nothing. Could be seen as a metaphor for us. Duking it out in the courtroom. Okay, I'm fast forwarding a little bit because it doesn't seem like any of this is significant. February 23rd, Police Department entrance. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. The detectives are running around so fast they're blurring. I suppose it makes sense. A detective did get killed here after all, supposedly. So, the evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk. Here it is. She's like a kid at an amusement park. Oh, real crime scene. Let's go take a look. Behind those doors, police drama in action. The thought fails to excite me. Yeah, I keep trying to do quick scans. All the police and criminals. Well, I don't know if that's exciting. Sure it is. The officers, they're probably talking about the latest bust. Thought they were talking about the weather. Is there anything new? I think it's not new. I think it's old. Okay, we gotta catch up with the other detective too. I'll be right back. Thank you, Starry, for the chat. Like I keep saying, if I can get 3 to 5 people chatting, like 10 more followers, I'll be ready to move on to the next level of Twitch. So, big thank you for the support. Okay, I am back. Let's see here. Yeah, as a matter of fact, story, I think we're about through with this series. At least this game, Ace Attorney, we're on the final episode. Okay, let's try the guard station next. February 23rd, evidence room entrance. Guard station. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. So beyond that door is the evidence room, the scene of the crime. It sure seems that way. Oh. What's wrong? It's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight. If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. Try. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where's the guard? I have a feeling I know who he is already. Cactus guy, Officer Marshall. Guys, these sure are prickly. They must be the real deal. I would think just one big one would be sufficient. These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually. How so? Encased in a cold, rigid shell with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her. I'm not so sure I see the resemblance. It's more an attitude thing than a physical similarity. Yeah, again, she could be helping us a lot in this case, actually. This swinging door makes this place look kind of like a saloon. But look, it's nailed shut. You can't get in that way. Of course not. If you went in through here, the cactus would fall over. Ouch. I'd say it'd be more of a yarr myself. Looks like there's a video feed from the evidence room here. There's a light blinking below the monitor. It says recording. I bet we could use this computer to check on who went in and out of there. Okay, let's try to be as thorough as possible. There's still a bunch of stuff to check out. This lasso on the floor. Looks like it's set up to trap something. A trap here? Wait, I know. Maybe someone was trying to catch a wild bull in here. But the lasso missed. You sure have an active imagination. Got these. There's a security guard uniform hanging there. Looks more like a costume than a uniform, honestly. A leather jacket, leather pants, leather... What was that called again? Poncho? Punchy? Pinchy? I know, Poochie. Wait, maybe that wasn't it. It's a poncho, but I think I'll keep that information to myself for the time being. Having too much fun watching her invent new words to describe a poncho. The evidence room is beyond that door. Let's just walk in. It won't open. You thought it'd be open? I think we would need someone's permission to go in there first. Do I have to use this computer first? Okay, it's the same. Can I slide? No, I can't. Is there anything else to see in here? I like how he's just got his, like, wardrobe, like, hanging out in the evidence room. Okay, the entrance again. This place is charged with frantic energy as always. Please. Huh? Wasn't that? One steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We caught a criminal, now we just need evidence. criminal, you mean?
You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal?
On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department. And the perpetrator. Do you have a suspect?
Can't remember how to do his voice. There was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact.
So you arrested him twice then, because he already said in the past that he was already arrested.
It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy.
But Detective Gumshoe, who was it?
Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch, pronto. Stand around here talking isn't going to fill my belly.
Wait, don't leave.
Want to know more? Head down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later. Hit him with a thunderbolt, right, you?
He ran off to the evidence room. Well, this investigation is off to a running start. Can I follow him? I think I need to catch up with Officer Marshall first. I think so. Where to next? Criminal Affairs? That doesn't quite seem right. I think the law offices are the only place we haven't been. Well, where should we begin? Oh, well, isn't it obvious? We should begin with that, you know, that thing. The mystery of the victim, I guess. How could one man, Detective Goodman, be killed in two places simultaneously? It's not possible, Phoenix. Oh, well, you see. Unless they have cloning in this game. In this world. We should go to the police department. The evidence room, was it? We've already been there, Phoenix. I'm not being very useful here, am I? No, you're being very helpful. Poor Mr. Edgeworth.
You know, you're going through a tough time, were they? With all those rumors. You were even the defendant's charges this past December.
There was that business with him not reading that officer's report. About the killing at the police department, right. The chief of police was right about that. But I can't help but think. Someone at the police department doesn't like Edgeworth. There's a lot of rumors swirling around about him. This stuff is pretty expensive. You don't say. How much does it cost? I'd say about $10 per gram. I saved up my allowance to buy it. Your allowance? Does your sister give you that? Yes. We don't have any parents. Right. Sometimes she even gives me a bottle instead of my allowance. A bottle of Luminol Testing fluid? Man, I'd just take the allowance myself. I'll just take the allowance myself. Sometimes emphasis is something I have a hard time with too. Putting the right emphasis on words. Just takes practice. Here, see this? I've noticed that defense attorneys have a tendency to want to show people things. What is this, a behavioral study of lawyers? She has nothing to say. There is a fingerprint on it, though. A handprint on it. Okay, let's see. Itchy nose. Let's go to the detention center. We haven't been there yet. February 23rd Detention Center. Visitor's room. Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. What was that? Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me? Perpetrator? I'd say I was the perpetrated against, sir. That's what I'd say. Oh, wow. The officer?
Oh, hi. Greetings, sir.
Wait, I know who you are.
Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Officer Meekins. So you're the guard here at the detention center? No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman. I'm like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report. No, sir, how should I say this? Wait, he isn't... Is he... You? Officer Meekins, you didn't... Did you... Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir. What? Now this is an unexpected turn of events.
You're the perpetrator? This guard monitors the visitor's room. Seeing a fellow patrolman in here must make him worry about his own fate in life. No comments from the peanut gallery. Alright, Emma, alright.
You got me. Sir, I'm a patrolman with Jennifer Affairs, sir. Oh gosh.
Ow, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I want to give him a funny voice so bad.
I had some business that day, sir, so I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir.
Yeah, I like that voice around a lot. So normally there's a guard at the evidence room.
That's right, sir. Because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall.
Marshall?
Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person. Yeah, wow.
What the heck is this guy doing? He's got his hand cuffed around his neck for some reason. So what happened then?
After that, sir, everything went white. I saw red, I blacked out. When I came to, I was here, in the detention center.
How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand?
Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir.
A bandage on his hand, just like Miss Sky. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office.
First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand.
I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right?
Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. If you have to label me as a perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me victim.
I would, but you happen to be in detention, and alive and well at that.
Yes, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that.
Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman?
Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side.
Why do you still have that megaphone? Like, do you need that in here? Officer Meekins? So, you didn't know him?
Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. We work and live in very meager conditions, sir. It's a hard knock life. I don't know any detectives.
So if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him?
Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir.
At least someone around here is more confused than I am. Why doesn't anyone seem to remember when they kill someone? About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime?
Well, you see, sir,
Don't you think you should just confess?
But sir, but there was nothing I could do.
Nothing you could do?
Sir, to tell the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious.
The next thing you knew, you were... Huh?
Then when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared. What? Then when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hands, sir. Oh, the shock, oh, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt? The victim's body disappeared?
So, you encountered Detective Goodman in the evidence room. You fell unconscious, and Detective Goodman was gone at that point. So is it possible that Detective Goodman didn't actually die in the evidence room? I think that is the case. That's some story. It would seem as though he wasn't... Officer Meekins, this is for you. Eek, I'm scared of knives, sir. It's okay, I just wanted you to take a look at it. That's it, sir. Last night, sir. That's the one. I was an apple, sir, in my dream, sir. I was being peeled. On second thought, you don't have to look at the knife. He's overreacting to the knife, but I guess he's been through a lot. Hey, why do you have that? That's from the day it was taken at the prosecutor's office. The day that Detective Goodman's body was found in the trunk. So this means I'm a free man, innocent. If this is a dream, sir, then I hope I never wake up. If this is a dream, you better wake up right now. Because for some reason, you're still using that megaphone. Indoors, no less. What are you trying to do? Make us go deaf? There is no need for that megaphone, Officer Meekins. Officer Meekins, could you take a look at this? I'm sorry, sir. I'm really sorry, but I have no idea what that is. Maybe you should ask Mr. Edwards, sir. He's passing the buck, Mr. Wright. It takes a special kind of man to pass the buck to Edgeworth. So why'd you do it, Meekins? What did you have to gain? Okay, yeah, he's not gonna have any idea about some of this. I think this is the same theme song that comes on when Grossberg's around. Okay, I think that's all there is to see here. Okay. Is Edgeworth back? No, he's not. Okay, we're just gonna keep circulating until something occurs of value. Yeah, no, we can still only go to the entrance. Still no sign of Marshall, still no sign of Edgeworth. Maybe we should be using the spray more often too. Where else would we need this? Maybe. There doesn't seem to be anything. Not even on the cacti. Oh. Aha. Found some. Wow, we got a reaction. There's clearly blood around the spines here. This room's pretty messy. Someone must have tripped over something and planted their head right in these spines. I think that might be more painful than being murdered. So, let's see, is there anything else here? There isn't any blood on the desk. Cactus. I think that's it. think that's all. We could use it here too. Let's not forget that. No blood in the cop car. Is there blood anywhere else? Don't think so. Criminal affairs. Scumshoe here. I'm sorry I keep wetting my lips, but yeah, my lips are so stinking dry. Like, I'm gonna need to use Carmex again. Hopefully we're getting close to the end of this episode so I can start Fallout 76 soon. It's already 10 o'clock here. Wow, everyone looks deadly serious here. Well, there was a vicious murder of a detective down at the police department. Yes, but the same detective was also killed at the same time the prosecutor's life. Makes my head hurt. But first things first, let's go check out the police department crime scene. Yes, you sound dead set on investigating, but don't mess up or we could wind up dead. I doubt anyone wants more mysteries or dead bodies around here right now. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to help us much either. Yeah, it's... I think it's the case that he was like knocked out. Patrolman of General Affairs suspected of killing Goodman in the evidence room. I think what happened is Goodman was knocked unconscious in the evidence room, and then, but that doesn't really click because based on what Angel saw, I believe Goodman was still conscious, so I don't know. I think we would want to run that by her, but again, the game doesn't allow us to do that. It doesn't update her chat options. Just spraying the detective. Chief of police, I mean. I think he's the chief of the detectives. I think there's two. There's chief of police and chief of detectives. I think. Yeah, because like Angel might be able to talk about what she saw more. We already heard this. I just don't want to go in circles. Let's see. I haven't even run into Officer Marshall. Yeah, if I present any evidence that's not critical, she just moves on. There's blood here too. On the sole of the shoe. It's gotta be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood. It's horrible. I wish we can ask Angel about what she saw in the parking lot, and I wish that we also could ask Lana that too. Seriously, why haven't we heard from the defendant? It's my sister's, right? Pretty so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. Poor nothing if she was involved. She's gonna get what's coming to her. there any blood in Edward's office? Don't think so. Let's see, we've been everywhere there is to be, I think. Let's see, how long have I been streaming now? Over an hour. Yikes. Need to present Goodman's ID to Meekins. Why would I do that? How would I know to do that? I don't know, but that's what I need to do. So let's try that. This was found in the prosecutor's parking lot too, so Meekins... I don't think Meekins would have knowledge about that. It doesn't seem like he would. Do you think you could take a look at this? Hey, that's it, sir. That's it. That's it. That's what? My head was blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember. I remember, sir. You mean you remember what happened? Correct. That card was the cause of it all. This ID card? Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing can be more exact, sir. Nothing. I'd better pry into this one a little deeper. See what else he has to say. Can you tell me what it is you do remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a lost little patrolman, a lost little lamb for you. He already said this. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in the evidence room. And that's why you thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and I asked the man to show me his ID card. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. What? Sir, I assure you I was as frustrated as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him. Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him? Do unto others before they do unto you, my father's words, sir. What happened then? Well, my eyes, sir, everything went white. When I woke, I was here. Right. We saw you in Edgeworth's office, though, so... You must not have gone directly into jail. So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Like, he's saying he has no memory of attacking Goodman. He only remembers Goodman attacking him. Well, he says he did leap at him, but he says after that he lost consciousness, so we don't know. Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim who he met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card. So it could have been someone pretending to be Goodman. We have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim. We definitely know Goodman was the victim, and we can place him in the prosecutor's office parking lot when he died. So it's possible whoever Meekins saw in the evidence room was someone pretending to be Goodman. And this body just disappeared from the evidence room. We don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir, that's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here. They told me that it had to be him, sir. On that day at that time. Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room, that's what they said.
But you don't remember the events clearly. No, but the videotape is quite clear. Videotape? From the security camera. The crime, my crime. The crime I swore to stamp out. It's there, it's me, it's on tape. Okay, why do you need to keep using that? You waited until now to tell us this? I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it. No, thanks. I have my own. Well, guess we better go check out the crime scene. Which crime scene, though? This crime scene? Or this crime scene? Apparently not this one, because there's nothing there. It must mean the underground parking lot. Okay, hold on a second. Criminal affairs now. Is where we haven't gone. Okay. February 23rd, Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, Mr. Wright. Look who's standing at the Chief of Detective's desk. It's Police Chief Gant. You're sure this is all? Hmm? You know what this means, if there's anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. I checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats. Under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal copy machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away, Deedle. Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir. The Chief of Detectives looks a little flustered. Right-o, my boy. How you been? Swim much? Aho, Chief Gant. Reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? I don't know, actually. Is Edgeworth going to be okay? Oh, where is he? Yeah. Oh, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him. Sounds like an inquisition. Yep, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boy since last year. You mean the incident on Gourd Lake? It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? I knew you got someone else found guilty in that case, right? Oh. Don Karma. A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence. Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In the case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? He was found innocent. Thanks to the double jeopardy clause in the Constitution, he is a free man. It's downright odd, I tell you. The detective getting killed on their turf, too, I mean. There being the prosecutors, I assume? Scientifically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. Yep, that's not what happened. So we know, much like the Sl9 incident, there is some phony baloney information going around. What evidence is this? No, Righto, I can't give away all our secrets just like that. This in particular, well, it's a little sensitive and I can't talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the Chief of Detectives trap shut. He was the one you were picking on earlier. Huh? You saw that? Whoops. I wonder what it was that he wanted the Chief of Detectives to do. Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. Could Could you take a look at this? Sorry, Righto. You could that stuff through, I say. Go find that guy who can't seem to sit still out there, the busy one. The guy who can't sit still. Does he need Detective Gumshoe? Either him or the dancing blue badger. Itchy nose. Itchy, itchy, itchy. Let's keep it moving on. Okay. Sorry you had to see that. What exactly did the Chief of Police want you to do? See over there, that's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can. So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman's still here. Of course not. Except for this. What, you kept something? Sure, why not? It's not important. I didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. Lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something? The date on this is February 21st. Better make a note of that just in case. Goodman's lost item report added to the court record. It's a half-written document dated 2/21 and can only be submitted to the Chief of Police. I wonder if it's from the Sl9 Incident, the knife. I still think maybe it's a cover-up, maybe someone posing to be Goodman attacked Meekins in the evidence room. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought I'd see the day when Wright would ask me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. Now, Righto. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't need to investigate after all. Righto, please, do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50, I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out. This goes to show you never know until you ask. For you here, you can borrow this. Oh, hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir, it's an honor. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. That's all, folks. Looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID. You seem happy. Yes, sir, because, sir, we get into the evidence room now, sir. Get to go into the evidence room now, sir. I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. Okay, let's return. The evidence room is beyond that door. And we have the ID card from Chief Gat. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Aha, the card reader is turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Well, what's made my bambina sky so gray? Yeehaw. Officer Marshall. Why does it have to be him? What's that? Why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. We're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeehaw. That card you got there on your chest. That's better than the sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw. Get along, little doggy? What you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. I knew he was gonna say it. That crime scene's awaiting. Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you hombres. You're busy then. Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. I was wondering if we could talk to you. Sorry, Bambina. And I'm off roaming lands like a tumbleweed on a wide prairie. Like a gunslinger loading a 6-shooter. Say a little prayer. What was that about, Mr. Wright? I think he was just too hungry to talk. You're just saying that because his stomach was growling. You have no idea what he was talking about either. Well, in any case, we need to get cracking on this investigation pronto. Okay, same again, I gotta present him with the food. Bajam. That smell reminds me of Texas. So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? No, I just saw a special on the television the other day. Is this from my baby? Yeah, Miss Starr. What's this? What? What's wrong? A filet steak lunch. I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Steak lunch given to Officer Marshall. Alright, Bambina. You win. Ask anything. Finally, it seems like he's willing to talk. Okay. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right? You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. That poor little doggy. Poor guy, keep getting his name wrong, calling him Meekly. He told us something. Said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Oh, oops, sorry. Got the voice changed. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. But since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, you might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know? So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place? Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy. No, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy. There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place. You mean the security camera system? I don't take to machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know? Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago. It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of a crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire. You're still investigating the Sl9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you? That was my case. It's all solved on the record books. But it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it. What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times that no one tells us what actually happened. There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago. Yeehaw. 2 days ago, the day of our case. That's right, the evidence transfers. Edgeworth was talking about the transfers too. Okay, let's talk about the security system. I know what maybe 2 of the machines in here do. Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen. Like I said, Bambina, I mean the machines well. I like them about as much as I like my stewed cauliflower with my steaks. The easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras. Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned. It's a long episode. Nothing happens. The tapes are basically automatically erased every few hours. And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes? I reckon they might be. Get the security guard, you reckon? One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. Yeah, we already got one. So we're one step ahead. That's the card reader by the door. The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. At 5:14 p.m. it says that Detective Goodman entered. So this is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before. Sorry, Bambina, I can't show you more than that. Huh? I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet. Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before. Yes, 5:14 p.m., Detective Goodman. Maybe there's some way I can prove that record is tied to the stabbing. Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing's about? We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see? So what happens to the evidence after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault of the County Sheriff's Department. That's what we call transferal, due every February. I see now. Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever, dead. Never to be reopened again, never to be reinvestigated. And that happened to Sl9 2 days ago. See this? This is the victim's ID card. The one now is on the ground in the parking lot. The number on this is 584289. Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. Look, the fourth number, it's a perfect match. It was used at 5:14, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world. So when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. But wait, what did Officer Meekins say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and I asked the man to display his ID card. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing, suddenly he pointed a knife at me. So he didn't actually present the card. If he had his ID card then, why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? Alright, compadre, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record. Nice. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Okay. Sheriffs back in the Wild West didn't place much faith in evidence. About the only thing they trusted was their shooting hands. And this is neither Wild nor West here. Aha, but that and this are two different things entirely. I guess so, huh? I'm lost. Looks like we need some evidence to get anywhere with this guy. Okay, we're good here. Let's advance. February 23rd, evidence room, sector 3. Hopefully we're getting close to the end of this episode, because this is a long... It's quiet. The investigation must be over here. So this is the evidence room. It really is kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue. Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. Hit him with a thunderbolt, right, Joe? Whoa! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, though. If you thought it was a ghost, why would you try hitting him at all? Like, you can't hit ghosts. Is it true what I heard? Rachel, please, do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asked me, sure, can I borrow $50, I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room at your heart's desire. Knock yourself out. Yeah, it's true. So Chief of Police Garrett will loan anyone $50? Even me? Time to cash in. Cha-ching. So that's what you're talking about. Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today? Boss for a day. Guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for a day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you want to have this. Evidence from floor plans. Scene of the stabbing of a detective at the PD. Let's get it half. So Detective Gumshoe, you're boss for the day? That's right, it's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you're boss, Why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They're using yesterday's finds to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation again. Amendment, though. I want to take control and put this case to rest. My own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe? Of course. I'm a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open. I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee now, right? They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The Sl9 Incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it. Using their ID card? That's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why I'm on the third card since entering the force already? That sounds like a lie. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprints? Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coded with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see? The handles? On the other side of the handles is a sensor. And if the wrong person touches it, bzz, get a shock. That's what happened. My hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Evidence locker adds the correct record. Only the assigned detective's prints can unlock it. Indicator lamp lights up when it's open. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing. I heard the rumors. So it was Goodman who came in here at the time of the day. Whoa. What is it? The second number. It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe? Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. What? ID card updated in the court record. Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? I don't know, it's $1 million question. You can't open the lockers if your fingerprint doesn't match. If you can open it, they'll give you 50 cents. No, the police department lacks faith in its lock system. After all, Detective Goodman was stabbed here after opening his locker. At the same time, he was found dead over at the prosecutor's office. There must have been someone else posing as him here in the evidence room. I'm thinking. Let me say one thing, speaking as a detective. If I see a piece of evidence I know nothing about, I say nothing. Nothing. That's fine. Bet it's fine, pal. Let me say one thing. Okay, so he only talks about things he can recognize. The Sl9 Incident is something that I'm going to talk to him about. Detective is knowing that switchblade. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone. Because of the Sl9 connection. That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? Guess it's not over, pal. It's never over. Not for the likes of us. Maybe there's some loose ends left on that case. Okay, are we good here now? That was a bloody violent case. Violent. So it was a murder. Serial killing. A serial killing. Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake. Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that and that. This was 2 years ago. The Put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight. Started the rumor though. Okay, so if it was a serial killer, there's probably going to be a bunch of evidence. Several murders. So why did they have so much phony baloney evidence in that case? I don't know. Look at all these rumors about forged evidence. They're supposed to be all cleaned up with the transfer of the other day. It's the last job you ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the Sl9 Incident, see? Oh, we already knew that. So that switchblade knife, the victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself. It might not have been Goodman, though. Might have been someone posing as Goodman who may have had a part in the real Detective Goodman's murder. Wow, look at this big pile of junk in the corner. That looks like a car door. There's a pair of handcuffs attached to the frame. Maybe the guy they caught was some sort of escape artist and he got away. Hey, that's one of those human profiles for range testing. He's been shot square in the forehead. Better him than us. Okay. So much stuff. Some sort of bulky equipment is gathering dust here. What a sorry looking fishing pole that is. That's my personal pole. Never did get around to using it. Wait, I've seen that somewhere before. Right, pal, that's the metal detector. The one that led to solving that case out on Gourd Lake, remember? Oh, right. Wow, that feels like it was ages ago. And, I don't think I've seen this one before. Well, that's a bug sweeper. Sure will come in handy in solving some case sooner or later. That cheap-looking box? Can't judge a person or a machine by the cover. Gotta look at their heart. Okay, yeah, we can slide here too. What is the saw and paint doing here? Since the dawn of time, true art has always been a war against depression. True art? I noticed that there's blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger. Or you might say this is my studio. Here in the evidence room? That reminds me. This is my crowning achievement, my masterpiece, you might say. But art is always misunderstood, pal. Art? He's dancing proudly on the day of the awards ceremony, but there were a lot of people coming and going after the ceremony, so they took the Blue Badger away for a while. Really? Why? Said it was shameful or something like that. Shameful, I told night and day. I sympathize with Detective Gumshoe, but I can see why they moved it. This place is stuffed with evidence, stuffed with dreams. I'm not so sure about the dreams. Won't open. Did you really think it would? Hey pal, security's high tech around here. Okay, good. Good. There's one that's open. There's a glove here. Someone left a glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe, maybe. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know. You mean Sl9? It does have a tag on it. Rubber glove added to the court record. Extremely thin rubber glove from the Sl9 Incident. There's also rocks or something on the ground. Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces. Detective Gumshoe, perhaps. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case. The case? The Sl9 Incident, pal. See the sticker on one of these pieces here? Another piece of Sl9 evidence. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broke. To put it back together? Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up. That's why I always carry around a tube of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Seriously? I can't rotate. I think this is the one. I think this is the one. Nope, it's telling me it's not. It's like an M. It's like an M. That's why I thought it was this. It's not. Should I just go through the list then? Is there something I'm missing here? Oh, I can rotate. That's what I thought. I can't see my whole screen, that's part of the problem. Why to combine? Okay, I can see it now. One with a very long side. Jagged side. I think this is it. Yeah. It's like a vase. You, right? Might be this one. Yeah, it was. Okay. Okay. I'm a little bit puzzled. Okay, I'm glad that worked. Huh? I think we did it. Some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far too. In 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. Were some pieces stolen? I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. I kind of understand how it got broken. Stable jar added to the correct jar piece back together from fragments found at the scene. Pieces missing. Look, this one's open. The red indicator light above the door is lit. That locker is coated with Detective Gibbons' fingerprint. Detective Gibbons' locker. Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that? Well, it'd be hard to get it open again if we closed it. It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere. So, I'm thinking maybe someone posing as Gibbons. If you put these pieces together, it makes a jar. There are two things that bother me. One, why are some of the pieces missing? Two, doesn't it seem a little unstable? No wonder it broke. I'll make sure to remember that next time I make a jar. Dry lips, I think we're done in here. Man. That's the door we just came through. Looks like you don't need an ID card to get out. I wonder what would happen if Officer Marshall cut the power while we were inside. Let's hope he remembers we're in here. There's something sticking out of here. Looks like a shirt. Guess it must be evidence for some case. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe put this here. There you go, pal. Make me out to be some kind of slob. Not responsible for the evidence here. That said, that evidence locker was opened recently. How do you know? If you leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty and ripped. The guard checks on that kind of stuff and notifies the detective responsible. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence? Sounds like Detective Gumshoe leaves evidence hanging out a lot, too. I bet he doesn't tuck in his shirt under that trench coat either. If you go and talk behind someone's back, don't do it right in front of them, pal. So much going on here. I think we're about done with this whole episode. I'm gonna say one thing. Okay. You know what we could try is spraying rounds. Aha. I found one. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch the spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What, this? It's called Luminol Testing. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. Just borrow $50 from the chief. Where do you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I better jot this down on the floor plans. Okay. That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien. This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you should have asked. There were two. I knew it. This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, detective? This locker. It's mine. It's yours? Please. You got to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't hurt a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? Won't you? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. Count on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. Well, but you're a detective. Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something that you needed to go do? Just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm going to go give them my report for the day. Might help, you know. Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer? The one that says nothing but no problems? It's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure you can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you got friends like Detective Gumshoe? Come on, pal. Later. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. What's this, blood? It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint here. Looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright, what if there are other bloodstains left in the room? We should use your testing fluid to check it out. I already did that? Must have had. Detective Gibbons' evidence locker. It's empty. Only Detective Gibbons himself can open this locker. So the person who took out that knife had to have been Detective Gibbons. But why was it wrapped in the scarf muffler and stuck inside the car muffler? Two different sets of mufflers. Suspicious. That yellow crime scene tape. You know, yesterday was my first time seeing that. It was always my dream to push through a crowd and just step over the tape. It's a little daunting to encounter it again so soon. I think maybe you're overreacting a little. Yeah, a lot of reading too. Like, there's blue and yellow paint here. This is all I need to paint a portrait of you, Mr. Wright. I am wearing a red necktie now. think we're good in here. After like tons of digging. Piece of black cloth is sticking out. Looks like a shirt. Better tidy it up or it'll get wrinkled. Hey, don't look at me. I didn't leave it hanging out like that. Yeah, there's no way to interact with the shirt, looks like. Spraying doesn't really do much of anything. Four 989-596. Whose ID is that? It could be one of the detectives. And Meekins isn't giving us any info. Detective Gumshoe didn't claim any of those numbers either, and neither did Officer Marshall. We could go back to Marshall. Let me just double check and make sure that he didn't have anything on that. Yeah, no, he doesn't. Okay, let's check out Edgeworth now. I wonder if she has any info on this. Okay, no. She don't. Yeah, it's a dead end. Okay, Edgeworth. Bellboy. Ah, guests. My apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave, so long. Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, teacup in his hand. Right. He is at the hotel bringing tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. By the way, Detective Gumshoe is looking for you. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. And the real info's on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. Oh, okay. Oh, right. I better check this now. As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage. Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. The Chief of Police? He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence was already filed. The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. Now I'm curious about this other case. I'd better make note of it. Unrelated evidence. Screwdriver added to the court record. So much evidence. Evidence from a past case of Edgeworth's brought back to his office by Gant's request. Screwdriver. Stubborn as always, I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. We can't give up, Edgeworth. We've got to keep trying. Right, please, I'm the prosecutor on this case. You don't expect me to sit here and discuss the case with you over a cup of tea. I'll pass on the tea, just tell me about the case. Mr. Wright, Mr. Edgeworth just told you no in a very polite manner. Whose side are you on, anyway? Maybe if I just show him my best evidence, I can get some reaction out of him. I've got literally an amount of evidence at this point, so... Like, I have an actual plethora of evidence. I wonder if he would know anything about that jar. Photo? No. Okay, I think we're getting closer to the end of this episode. Holy smokes. Goodman's notes. Or the Switchblade. I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on. The Sl9 Incident. It's some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You are the man who's revived the worst memory by life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. You must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. Please, I'm prosecuting this case. Okay. I know I have to talk to Edgeworth about it all. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Concealing evidence? Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. We were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still presiding... I'm the presiding prosecuting attorney, however. Something happened. They gave me control of the investigation. They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. The police department? Yes. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police, Gant. I can do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you, why? All along I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still. Wow, I've never seen this out of sorts. The Sl9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the Deputy Chief of Police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too then. He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edward? What I want to know is why was the Deputy Chief of Police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't... Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister, what? If you were still studying forensic science. Yes, of course. Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminol Testing fluid, Well then, you might have use for this. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints. It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I have no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really... No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Fingerprinting set covers fingerprints from handprints for comparison with fingerprint file. Fingerprinting set and fingerprint file received. This is a long episode. Let's get going. One last investigation, right? I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Yeah. Angel Star is gone. As is Marshall. Marshall. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, and there's blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Probably the thumb, I'm gonna say. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. I'm starting to get that spark in my eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With enter, see? Looks like that did the trick. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. How do I do that? With E. Exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See? Wow, that looks like fun. Might take some getting used to, though. It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. I guess I better give it a try. You did it, you found one. But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Again, another typo. It should say I think it means. They wrote like a book and a half for this episode, so it's understandable they would have a few typos in here. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. Alrighty, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door again closely. Seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print. Fingerprints outside the blood.
Okay, are we good now, or?
Print so clear it's dazzling. Dazzling? Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. We just matched it up right away. So we're not done yet. This is quite a process. It's taken us 2 hours. There's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? I guess she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth. Point out the person you think left these prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was? I can make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprints would you most likely find on this evidence locker? It's Gumshoe's locker, right? I would say Gumshoe. Yeah, it's Gumshoe's locker. Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this so what look. I guess that's probably because I was thinking so what. In case we can't put nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. To the left. It was on here, I'm pretty sure. There's a handprint here. Okay. I'm gonna try using this. There go Wright sparkling again. Let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of our hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. I think it's got to light up yellow. Yeah, it does. Oh, sorry if like the voice acting in this episode is not perfecto on my part. The reason for that is that it's been an extremely long episode and my voice is getting tired. I gave it my best shot. That kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? But it doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this print. Let's try a different finger then. That's a pretty good one. Oh boy. Let's see what happens if I say Goodman. If not Goodman, we'll go Marshall. That's not. Marshall. Hey, these fingerprints, whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? Marshall's fingerprints add to the court record. Found on a bloody handprint. Left in evidence room. The print had been wiped. That's gotta be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma. This is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. A luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh. So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a white blood stain. Maybe he used that knife to kill Detective Goodman. But why would Officer Marshall? It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. After almost 2.5 hours, you better believe it. Alright, day 3 trial former. So there's going to be a 2-part trial to round off this episode, looks like. Alright. Well, thank you, Starry, for chatting. Thank you also if you follow. Follows help the show. Chat helps the show. Views help the show. So thank you. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. I'm gonna take probably a 10-minute break, get some water and stuff, use the bathroom, and then I'll be back with Fallout 76. It might just be an intro episode. It might not be a very long episode to begin with, but after that we will also have the exercise series, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and hope you've enjoyed the show.